So, Transformers, Spider-Man, Guardian of the Galaxy, The Flash, Mission Impossible is coming, Indiana Jones is coming, and let's just be honest, all these movies are just CGI. All these blockbusters, summer blockbusters movies these days are just CGI, right? There is very little live action in it. And say, for example, you are looking for a different experience in terms of just a laid-back, toned-down story that focuses on characters. Well, The Blackening is it. This is the movie for you if you just want something different to watch today, because it's out on June 16th. I would call this modern blaxploitation movie, horror plus comedy. It blends a bit of scream plus just a bit of saw. Without the soreness, it comes with the screen and someone in a mask trying to tell you to do something. Let me just put it that way. Now, this is one of the very few films that I've seen that has the most distinct characters in terms of costume, in terms of how they're written, and in terms of personality. You could switch off the light after maybe the 30th minute, after the first act. You could simply switch off the light and let them talk, and I would be able to identify each and every character based on how they've been established and how they've been characterized. Now, I come from Nairobi, Kenya, which is in Africa. I wouldn't consider myself to be an African American, and I wouldn't pretend to understand the African American culture. The African American culture in the States is very diverse. Apart from what we see on the media, I can't comfortably see that I truly understand it, because I was watching this movie with a few people who understand that culture, and at some points they were laughing and I wouldn't understand what they were laughing about. And so there's some songs that they were explaining to me that made a lot of sense in terms of the African American culture. And for me, well, I don't know. That's one of the problems that I have with this film. Now, this is like the only problem that I have with this film. There are a lot of things, references that they talk about that I don't really get. As I said, I'm from Africa. There are one or two things that they talked about and they were supposed to be funny, but they passed me because, well, I don't get them. I don't get them. But apart from that, this is a very well-written movie. This is a very well-written, grounded horror movie that genuinely makes you laugh. It effortlessly makes you laugh. And I would want to go into the story, but then I wouldn't want to go into the story because it may contaminate your experience when you go there. I hate trailers, as I said, and I don't want to create a scenario whereby I spoil it for you, because if you go in not knowing, I knew very little. I just saw the trailer, the first trailer, and for me it connected because it felt more like one of my favorite African American movies, which is Meet the Blacks 2, which is it has comedy and an element of horror. And I thought that they would try to take that direction with this movie, and I'm glad to say that they actually did. But the only difference is that this is way well written than the other movie. It's funnier. The interactions feel effortless. They don't feel like they're scripted. It feels like you're watching a group of people have something almost realistic happen to them. But it's fictional because, well, people kind of get injured, others die. But in terms of just their interactions, it's pretty much what I would think African American would behave in a normal setting. Let me put it that way. So yeah, in terms of the horror elements and the action, the very few action elements, I didn't go in for that. I would even, when they're having these horrific moments, these horror moments, for me, I would go like, that's not what I really want to see. I just wanted to hear them talk or have these exchanges that for me I would have considered to be more funnier than they needed to be. It feels like the director was working with a studio that did not want to bother with them. I think this is Lionsgate. They did not want to bother them. They didn't look into the production of the film. They didn't overlook everything. They just gave the director the freedom. I think it feels like they gave him a very small budget and then told him, you go do your thing and have fun while you do it. Because the kind of direction that is in this film, it's pretty weird, especially in the summer when you have this over-the-top or over-processed movies coming out, and then you have this small movie that is very, very grounded. I don't mean that it doesn't have spectacular scenes. It does have some very interesting shots, plus it's very contained. It's shot in a cabin, like think Cabin in the Woods. It's excluded from the rest of the world, so the director has a lot of control in terms of what he decides to show you or what he does not decide to show you. So yeah, the sense of direction is very, very strong in this film. I enjoyed where he decided to take particular characters. I enjoyed the fact that we had a character who was biracial, and so her personality would waver in terms of favoring her or not favoring her. I love that there were some really super dynamic characters that they were interesting to follow, and their motivation was pretty much clear. Let me just put it that way. So yeah, The Blackening, I would highly recommend you go see it. If there's a second trailer, don't watch it. If you watch the first trailer, try to forget it. Just go in fresh, go into a theater where it's full of people, and try to forget everything or any other review that you've seen. I hope that you're watching this before. I hope that you're watching this after you've watched the movie, because having that experience of watching it without knowing what's happening, it's pretty awesome. It's pretty spectacular. So yeah, The Blackening, go see it. Go see it. I promise you that you will laugh at some really, really interesting African American take on some aspect, and the commentary is there, and the use of N-word is there. So if you're race sensitive, you don't like a lot of use of the N-word, then if you have a problem with black people, don't even bother go watch. Don't even bother coming to see this. I would give this out of 5. I would give it a 4.5 for the script, only for the script. Everything else is whatever it wants to be, but just for the script, I would give it a 4.5. So basically that's it. Thanks for watching, and remember to watch what you enjoy and enjoy what you watch. Please subscribe, and I will most definitely see you on the next one.